Hey everyone, today I will teach you how to play Flip 7. Let's go.
Hi everyone.
Make sure you like and subscribe for more, and also check out my gaming channel, Markis P Gaming, for video game Let's Play content. Can you flip 7 unique number cards in a row without going bust? Well, press your luck and find out. Before I proceed, make sure that you have pen and paper handy to keep score. I will give you or show you a QR code near the end of this video where you can use it to print your own score sheets for this game. So to set up the game, shuffle the deck and then elect a player to be the dealer for the round. Then in turn order, going from left to right, the dealer will deal one card face up to each player, and this includes the dealer itself. Now, what would happen if a player would be dealt either a modifier card or one of these action cards? I'll go over that part later in the video when I get to discuss the functions of these cards. But for now, let's go over the fundamentals on the gameplay itself. Now, when it's your turn, you have two options. You can either hit or you can stay. If you decide to hit, you'll be dealt an additional card. So let's work on that right now, starting with player 1. Player 1 decides to hit and get dealt another card. There. Now, player 1's turn is over. We move on to player number 2. But just keep in mind, player 1 is still active because they did not bust and also they did not stay. So again, this game is operated in turn order, so you don't focus on a player's turn all the way through. You give them what they want for an option, then you move on to the next player. Okay, it's player 2's turn, and they decide to hit. Player 2's turn is over. Let's move on to player number 3, which is of course the dealer. The dealer also decides to hit. Now there's one thing to keep in mind too. The number that is shown on the card determines its rarity, for lack of better words. A better way to explain this is that the number on the card equals the number of those cards in the game. So in this case, there are 9 9s, 5 5s, 10 10s, you get the gist. So if you're dealt a very high valued card, you're at risk of busting, but you will get a lot of points if you do take the risks necessarily. Let's move on back to player 1, and they've also decided to hit. Now this is a strange one. There should not be any 0 cards because, like I mentioned earlier, with 9 9s and 5 5s, there should be 0 0s, as in it should not exist. Don't worry, there's only just one 0 in the game. So, let's move on to player 2, and here's the thing. Player 2 decides to stay. Player 2 is now out of the round, and is now an inactive player. There's two ways that you can be an inactive player. Either that you bust, or you stay. So in this case for player 2, they're now inactive for the rest of the round, and they have scored their points. You add up the numbers that you have in your lines. In this case, player 2 has 11 and 9, you add them up, so player 2 finishes their round with 20 points. So now let's go back to player 3, and they decide to hit. Uh-oh. The dealer in this case, for player 3, has duplicate numbers. The dealer is now out of the round because they bust. You cannot have duplicate numbers in your line of numbers or you bust. So player 3 is now an inactive player. That means it just left to player 1 for the rest of the round. So now it's back to player 1, and they decided to stay and bank their points. So now the round is over because player 1 is now an inactive player, meaning that all of the remaining players shown are inactive. The current scores in this scenario would be that player 1 has 15 points, player 2 has 20 points, and player 3, aka the dealer, has goose egg because they bust. In this game, there are two ways that a round ends. I've already explained the first one, where all the players have to be inactive for the round to end. And there's two ways for a player to be inactive. Either they must bust or they must stay. So what is the second way to end the round? Well, it's when the player, or a player, achieves the game's main goal. If a player gets dealt 7 numbered cards with no duplicates, the round ends immediately, and no other active player will have a chance to score more points by continuing to hit cards and such. In addition, the player to achieve this feat earns 15 bonus points. Oh, and one other thing, when you become an inactive player for the round, flip your cards over to show that you're an inactive player. So these are modifier cards that give you extra points, including one that gives you double points. If you're ever dealt a modifier card, place it above your line of numbers like this, because of course it's a modifier that gives you extra points and not a number in itself. Now if you're dealt this card or any modifier card as the very first card for the round, just do it the same way, just place it above your line of numbered cards. And then you have your action cards. If you're dealt any one of these cards as the first card of the round, then the dealer pauses dealing and must resolve that action card immediately before the dealer can resume dealing out cards at the start of that round. This is the second chance card. It's the only card of the three that you can actually keep until you're ready to use it. So whenever you're dealt this card, just set it aside somewhere. If you're ever dealt a duplicate card that would cause you to bust, then you may use your second chance card to get rid of that last played card and simply get rid of it. Another thing too, you're only allowed to have one second chance card in your possession at a time. If you're ever dealt a second one when you already have one handy, then you have to give the second one to another player. But if you're the only active player left, or everybody else already has a second chance card handy, well, that one just gets discarded. You can only have one at a time. And another thing too, when the round is over and anybody has any second chance cards in hand, well, they're also discarded as well. The freeze card is pretty straightforward. When you're dealt this card, choose an active player, and that player automatically becomes an inactive player and is out of the round. And if that chosen player has any points, they bank those points. This dangerous card needs some discussion, the Flip 3 action card. Select an active player, and that player must immediately and instantly be dealt 3 cards from the dealer before this gets resolved. You can choose this on a different active player or on yourself, and I also forgot to mention that you can also play the freeze card on yourself as well if you want to. So let's assume that a player played this Flip 3 card on this player right here. So let's go ahead and give this player 3 cards instantly. There. Now this card right here has become resolved and is gone. But wait, another Flip 3 card has showed up. So the player that just got dealt this card can choose to put this on themselves, as well. They're only 3 cards away from trying to get a Flip 7 order without any duplicate numbers, or they can just put this on a different active player. Well, let's say that this player puts this card on themselves and tries to go for the Flip 7. So let's deal another 3 cards. 2 more left. 1 more left. Close. And one other thing about these Flip 3 action cards. If an active player that just got sent this card from a different player is being dealt cards as normal, but they either bust or they get the Flip 7 pattern of cards with no duplicate numbers while in the middle of being dealt cards from this action card, then the dealer stops dealing and this resolves immediately. Once the round is over, calculate the scores as necessary on the pen and paper that you have. Then to start the next round, set all the cards from the previous round off to the side. Do not shuffle them with the current deck. Use the remaining deck, and then the player on the left of the dealer becomes the new dealer. If the deck ever runs out, shuffle all the discarded cards to form a new deck. But if you ever need to create a new deck while mid-round, do not take any cards from any of the players, even if those players are inactive. At the end of a round, when one or more players has reached 200 points or more, the player with the most points wins the game. And that is how you play Flip 7. The only thing I have left to do now is to provide to you the QR code that you can use to print off your own score sheets in the event that you don't want to use traditional pen and paper. And with that, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Take care.